All right. Thanks everyone for joining today. Happy Monday. We'll kick off this starter series today, another one in the series. And this one is focused more on clinical trials. But before we get started, just wanted to introduce myself. I'm Jaspreet Dhamija, Senior Technical Specialist at Microsoft, and I have my colleague here, Jim.
Hey, everyone.
All right. So we'll go through a couple of slides and then jump into a demonstration of some of these use cases of how clinical trials manager or researcher can actually use Copilot for M365 for their daily use and how it can help them be productive. And again, as you see in the Q&A chat on the side, if you have any questions, if you just want to give a shout out on where you're joining from. I know we have people joining from all over the globe, so it will be great. We would love to know that. This is our agenda for today, and I'll just kick it off. So the age of copilots has arrived. I'm sure you all are seeing a lot of talk about AI, and this is the new era of AI. This shift, isn't coming a few years down the road or even in a few months. Your opportunity to lead in this new era of AI is right now. So we are already seeing a lot of excitement around different AI solutions. Microsoft has Copilot integrated in all of our different solution areas. And today we'll be focusing on Copilot for M365. So before we begin, I just want to also clarify some of the things around what Copilot is in the specific use case around clinical trials manager. So Copilot can actually help in streamlining administrative tasks such as preparing for meetings or summarizing emails quickly, improving the overall workflow. Copilot can also help in searching quickly for published articles and the data in it or answering any quick questions on 20 or 30 pages long case studies that this role has to read through. Quick content creation. Again, you will see in some of the demos we do that Copilot can actually help you creating a document from either scratch or by referencing a file within seconds and increasing productivity. So while doing all of these tasks that we just talked about or handling other repetitive tasks, clinical trial managers can actually allocate their saved time more efficiently somewhere else. What Copilot is not. So we also want to highlight that. So given, the complex pharma research, Copilot can assist with the basic information retrieval, but it's not a substitute for a pharma professional. So when you are researching for trial case studies or, the Copilot is summarizing information for you, it's on the person or the human in the role to make sure that that information is correct. So always verify. Sensitive conversations. Now, Copilot may inadvertently generate responses, that might not be appropriate. So, for example, when you're asking Copilot to create an or draft an email for you, so again, make sure you always review the content that are being shared. And compliance. So Copilot doesn't has compliance expertise. So please don't rely on Copilot for example, if you're trying to compare a study design with the GCP standards or others. With that, so this is a slide which talks about, the day in a life of a trials manager, and we are pretty sure, there's much more content in to be filled in there, but this is the highlight of what we can or we will cover today with Copilot for M365. So as you see on the slide, for example, just quickly catching up on chats or emails with Copilot. Maybe you're coming back from a vacation or just, coming back from the weekend. We always have a lot of work and emails pending for us. You can also ask Copilot to create a quick summary. We'll show that. Prepare for a meeting so it can read through the documents, look in your meeting agenda, whoever is joining the meeting, and quickly help you prepare for that by giving or composing all the information in one place. It can help you researching the web. So there are two different ways you can use Copilot, which is Copilot in M365 or Copilot in the browser, and we'll walk through that differences as well and how you can use or complement each other, to be productive. And then summarizing a PDF. So PDF is not native to Microsoft 365 apps, but there are ways that you can summarize or, ask Copilot to help you reading through a long PDF as well. And then we'll show you how you can create, a complete document from like either scratch or by referencing a file within seconds. With that, we'll jump into demo and I'll hand it over to my colleague, Jim.
Thanks, Jaspreet. Yeah, so as a clinical trial manager, I might want to kind of start my day off with finding information using Copilot to find maybe I'm looking for a protocol document on the biomarkers of dementia. So I'm going to use the JMIR website to do that. So you can see here, I have my browser open, and I'm going to invoke the Copilot up in the top corner. And basically, I'm just going to give it some information about the prompt, what I want from the prompt. Right? So here I'm going to say, okay, please locate documents on dementia biomarkers from this website. So I'm using the JMIR website, and I'm going to kick this off. So you can see it's starting to comb through, return information regarding documents that are found specifically on that site. I can click on these to quickly jump to those articles. Right. So in this case, I can click on that and flip right over to that. Oh, I can also ask it to find me some more documents. It's only returned 3 of them. So I'm going to say, okay, that's great. Thank you. But I want some additional documents from the website. So I'm going to go ahead and submit that. And it should really go out and find additional documents on that site that are related to my to the information I'd like. And again, I can jump directly to those. In this case, I'm going to open up a document from that it referred me to. I'm going to pop this open. And download the PDF. And you can see here, it pops open right from the site. I got my PDF. And I can do a couple different things here. So I can summarize the document. I can say, maybe I want to know what the key learnings were from this protocol. So I'm going to go ahead and say, summarize the key learnings from this protocol. So we can see it provides a study objective, the methods, the preliminary findings, and future research. I can continue on. I can actually answer, use some of the suggested prompts. So you can see these are some of the standards based on the information it's providing. It's providing some suggested prompts. But in this case, I'm going to go one step further, and I'm going to kind of put in a feasibility prompt. So it's really talking about, I'm going to ask it if there's any cost optimizations that it can suggest using this particular PDF. So it goes through, analyzes the document, and provides what it thinks are cost optimizations for the protocol. All right. I might also need to design a clinical trial protocol for drug X, we'll say. I want to leverage a completed phase 3 study design, but make changes to for this particular disease state. So I'm going to use a previously completed phase 3 study as a reference to generate an initial draft. So here you can see I have So right here I have my phase 3 document. So I'm going to use this as a reference. You can see basically it's a 3-pager that on the study. So I'm going to go ahead and say, okay, I'm going to jump over to Word and I'm going to create a new document based on that existing phase 3 study design. See here, it's found my file and I'm going to go ahead and generate this. So this will give me my draft protocol document. I need to have something done by the end of the day. This provides a really quick way to leverage some existing content, right? So this phase 3 document, I'm going to basically generate a new clinical trial protocol based on that document. So it's a very quick way to generate content from other content. So I want to show one more thing when this finishes up. Taking a little bit longer than I thought. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to go ahead and say, yeah, this looks good for my first draft. I'm going to go ahead and keep it. But some of the other things you can do in Word, if you want to say, okay, I want to change some of the wording here, so I can actually suggest. Where is it? I can do a rewrite with Copilot, possibly. So if there's something that you want to do, I already have this. Actually, do I have this up? Yeah, so I have an example here that might take a couple minutes. So I highlighted it, said rewrite, and you can see that it rewrote. There's a couple different options. I can take a look at all 3 of the options it provided, and then I can choose to replace it with a certain rewrite. I think that is all I have. I'm going to go ahead and pass this over to Jaspreet.
All right. Thanks, Jim. I'll share my screen here. So now I'll walk you through a few different examples of, again, day in a life scenario. So here we are as a clinical trial manager. I'm in my Outlook looking into my emails or meetings for the day, and I see this email chain, which has a lot of content that I'm discussing with my colleagues around clinical trials, drug discovery. And instead of going through that whole email chain and reading it out, if I just want a quick summary of what this email chain is about, I can come here and ask Copilot to summarize it for me. So while Copilot is doing that, it's really looking at the people who responded to this email, the context of what they said, if there was any time discussed to, have a meeting, any follow-up. So really all the important items, and then draft it here as a reply to me. So as you see, so just Preethami just started a discussion on clinical trials. And so you provided an overview, then Sally shared the feedback. and you thank the team, and here we go. So really in quick seconds, it's able to summarize a couple of emails for me, and then I can just go ahead with my day summarizing long chain of emails, and if I see I want to act on it, I can do that. So one thing I want to point out here, as I mentioned in the slides going, starting this webinar, was that AI generated content may be incorrect. And this is kind of highlighted in anything and everything when you use Copilot to create any content. So this again goes back to the fact that you are responsible at the end of the day to verify and review whatever the AI or Copilot has generated. And in terms of Microsoft, we actually have feedback built into it, into all of our solutions of Copilot. So wherever you see a thumbs up, thumbs down, basically it's asking you, if you go through this response and you are like, oh, something is off, or it didn't generate the right response that I was looking for, you can give a thumbs down and it will ask you for a quick feedback. You can do that and just click submit. And if you think it's a great response, you can also do a thumbs up. So this feedback directly goes back to our engineering teams where they are, reviewing and updating our product for the better. Just wanted to highlight that. So again, getting back to the flow. So after my, emails, I just look at my calendar and see that there is an upcoming meeting on pharma drug trials meeting on this Thursday. I want to go and prepare for it. So I'll jump into my Teams, see, what's the chat around it with my team. And then that's where I can open Copilot. So Copilot, as you will see, is integrated across our different applications. This Copilot here within Teams, which is one way to use it, is is a Copilot that goes across different applications. So here, when I search for something or ask for something, it can actually look into my Outlook for emails, my calendar, any Word, Excel, PowerPoint documents around. The another way to get through it is through the web or the browser. So if you open Copilot in the browser mode, and as you see, we have a work and web toggle. So on the work toggle is where you will see this Copilot for M365 chat kind of experience. And this is the same thing I showed you in Teams, but I'll use, this example to get me prepared for an upcoming meeting. So I'll just type in, help me prepare for a meeting. And by just clicking backslash, it will give me a list of meetings that are upcoming. So I'll select the pharma drug trials meeting and ask it to give a summary of any documents attached in the meeting and go. So here what Copilot is doing it's looking for this meeting, if that meeting had any attached agenda to it, if any documents, PowerPoint were shared in that meeting attachment, then it will give me a quick summary of what that is about. And as you see, it's, pharma drug trial meeting scheduled for 20th June. These are the people who are engaged, so I can also go in and look into these people if I don't know them already. Purpose of the meeting, it highlights, and then it's highlighting this document here from, case study on it, which you can find here in the reference as well. So I can directly go into the meeting and kind of look into details or just open the document that was attached here along with the meeting invite. So as you see, instead of going into my Outlook, looking into the meeting, I can just ask Copilot here and it will quickly summarize what I need to know. And then I can click on this reference file and it will open for me directly and get me into where I need to go. Okay. So that's that. And then coming back to the same experience, I wanted to highlight how web is different than the work experience. So if I am on the web toggle now, I can again search for anything. So for example, just something that Jim just quickly showed, he was searching for some articles. I'll just ask it to search PubMed and find the availability of in vitro assays for insomnia case study. Now, Copilot in web experience here is connected to the internet, so it is able to search, anything on the wide internet out there. But when you are in the work mode, all you can do is, all Copilot can do is look into your internal Microsoft 365 data. So that's where it can look into your Outlook emails, get you prepared for the day, or search for anything that's internal. But when you are doing some search that's more public, you can go and search it on web. So once I'm here, again, I can go into any of the sources open, click on it. It will open it on the web. Accept all cookies. So another thing, that Copilot in the Edge browser can do is actually help me summarize the page itself. So again, as you saw, what Jim showed was how you can open a PDF and ask Copilot to summarize it for you. I can also open any web page on the internet and ask Copilot on the Edge browser on this right top corner here, as you see, I open to summarize this. So just ask to do that. And then you can be specific if there is some specific information you're looking for on this web page or just need a quick summary, high level. So again, instead of doing the search yourself, you can just ask Copilot and it will quickly generate that summary for you. So this way you can also use Copilot in the browser mode and do your search effectively. If I want to put it in Word or anywhere I need to save it for my notes to go forward. Now, next one I want to show here is, quickly how Copilot works in our Microsoft Loop. So I don't know if a lot of you have heard about Microsoft Loop, which is one of recent or new applications within our M365 apps. It's basically a live editable document kind of feature. But how you can use it here is, for example, I opened this loop in here. I can use it to have different pages for different maybe weekly meetings that I'm covering, or if I'm tracking any clinical trials. And as you see, Copilot is integrated with our Microsoft Loop as well.
Did we lose Jaspreet?
That's what I was wondering.
I didn't know if it was me.
No, it is not just you. I was sitting here. I'm like, wait a minute. Did my audio go out? Do you want to jump in and take over?
Yeah. Let's see. Where should we jump to? She had a couple other ones that she was going to run through, but I'm going to go ahead and pop open the deck again and kind of go over in a little bit more detail. So earlier we showed you a quick, very high level day in life. So this is an example like this, providing a little bit more detail around that. So you can actually see that, in this case, Luke is a clinical trial manager. Basically in the morning, he's going through key activities, right, for finding information on clinical trials or protocol documents. Can be doing internal documentation, right, looking at internal documents using Copilot, but you can also use things like we've shown PubMed and JMIR. So you can see that moving through the morning, we're finding, relevant information, drafting the clinical trial protocol document. We could be using Power BI, Copilot and Power BI for analyzing data. And then moving into the afternoon, we can start catching up and prioritize some of the things in Teams and Outlook, like Jaspreet was showing. And then analyzing outcomes, right? Taking Copilot in Excel and extending that and using that to analyze information. And of course, with Copilot Studio, that's getting into some of the extensibility where you can ground this data, create Copilots that are grounded in company-specific data. Maybe you have knowledge bases or articles that you want to ground data in, and you can use Copilot Studio to create those. Jaspreet, are you back?
Yes, I am. Sorry, my Wi-Fi signal just dropped on me.
Okay. Do you want to pick up you want me to keep going, or do you want to pick up on the last couple? I think that one demo was pretty cool if you wanted to show that.
Yep.
Or pick up where you left off. Okay.
I will try that. All right. Hope everyone can see the screen.
Yep, looking good.
Okay, thanks, Jim. So as I was here in the Microsoft Loop and talking about how we can use Copilot within this Loop component and how or why it's different than using Word, PowerPoint, or anything else, is it's like a live document that you can share with others, and they can update the document within the same interface for you. So some of the things that you can do in here, you can do a progress tracker, mark different people in there, just creating a table like that. Or I can come in here. As you see, I can draft with Copilot and ask it to create or brainstorm some ideas. If I say go, it will just start drafting for me a response. I'll just stop that. Another thing I want to quickly show in here is you can do backslash and insert. So as I inserted this progress, tracker, I can come in here, insert a couple different things. You can choose from the template. I'll just do a table for now. And in one of the scenario, clinical trial manager responsible for several drugs. So if they need to prepare an analysis table with probably the drug name, clinical outcomes to date, they can start creating those columns here. Clinical outcomes. And then again, you can just keep adding more. But once you do that, again, you can go in here, share this whole page or workspace with your team, and they'll have access to come in here and start editing this along with you. Or you can go in and attach this within within a Teams chat, and they can start or access that from there too. So just wanted to show that. And now moving to the last one here. So as we we showed you a couple of different ways to search the web for looking for, PubMed articles or clinical trials articles. But as Jim was talking about extensibility in a little bit, so we have this chatbot configured here, and this in just a private kind of test going on within Microsoft that we have developed. This chatbot is connecting Copilot with the clinicaltrials.gov website. So anything I ask here to this Copilot will actually look for articles on clinical trials only. You can create one with just searching for PubMed or any other sites, or multiple ones as well. So I'll just come here.
Or internal things, right? So data sources.
Right, exactly. So you can have customized for internal data sources if you have documents, articles sitting on SharePoint or somewhere, and you just want a very specific search for those particular articles only, or that particular web, and don't want the search to be broader than that. Then you can create a customized approach to it. So as you see, I'll just go into my chat history and kind of show, since this is taking a little bit more time. So I asked it to search for, okay, it's generating the response. I found 3 clinical trials. I can go into reference And if I click on a reference, it will actually show me the link from where it pulled that and kind of details on that particular trial that I'm looking for. And I want to show in the history some of the other things I tried with it was I tried to find the latest clinical trials on dementia. It didn't had much information. So again, that can happen. So you can just start, changing or correcting your response. And once you find something, you can always ask Copilot to give me more details. So it will keep digging on, if you want to go to the next deeper level and ask more questions based on what it found initially. And that's how you can also use Copilot in terms of extending it and making it specific to your particular use cases or needs. Right, thank you, and over to you, Jim.
Yeah, thanks, Jaspreet. That was pretty cool. Yeah, so I covered the day in the life a little bit in more detail, but just wanted to show this slide. These are other things that could possibly be use Copilot to help with, like protocol development as an example. So you can see the different types of prompts, right? So quality, feasibility, scalability, regulatory. And like Jaspreet said, so if you start doing this, right, and you start using it for maybe taking a look at regulatory, don't forget that you can always iterate on your prompt. So if you throw this in and you're not getting exactly what the response is supposed to be, you can continue to iterate that until it really produces quality results for you. But just wanted to mention that we've kind of thrown these in one at a time. We didn't really iterate on some of these, but just something to point out. Okay, this is more of an advertisement. We have some upcoming webinars that will be continuing, and you can visit the Microsoft HLS blog for additional information. Here's a slide with a ton of resources on it. This will be available on the blog for this particular event, and we'll provide all the resources and prompts that we showed today. Yep, and if you have any questions, or you can always reach out to your Microsoft account team. But here's another set of resources that we'll be providing. Yeah, I'm just opening it up for Q&A. How's the chat looking? Pretty empty.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything in the QA. If you have a question, post into the QA panel. You'll see that at the top, and you can post your questions there.
Yep, and we have a lot of resources there on the slide as Jim presented, and we'll be sharing out the deck afterwards along with this recording, posted on the same blog that you used to register. So you can always come back to it, share it with your colleagues or peers if anybody is interested in learning more. Right, no takers for the question seems like today.
We have our first question. Can it handle multiple document inputs?
Yes, so essentially you could use multiple reference files, absolutely. So you can compare protocol documents, phase 3 studies, whatever it is. You can also do that type of use multiple inputs.
There's also the next question, can you save your previous prompts?
Yeah, so there's a couple different areas that it does have a history. So in Microsoft Copilot, so that's the browser version, it'll keep your chats for that particular session. Once the session ends, it's gone. But we do keep track of in M365 Copilot inside of Teams. That Copilot does have the ability, does have a history available to it. So you can always jump back to a prior prompt, click on it, and you'll see the response. And then you can continue to iterate on that prompt as well.
That looks like it. Oh, wait a minute, new update. We have, is it possible to integrate Copilot into Power Automate to automatically run repetitive prompts on a daily or weekly basis?
Yeah, so we're adding that integration with Power Automate to be able to run prompts on a regular basis. So if you have a certain workflow that you would go through each day, each week, whatever it is, you can use Power Automate to do that.
Yeah, and we are calling it Copilot Studio now. So I know there is a question to a question. Can the tool assist with creation of informed consents and assents? So yeah, you can ask Copilot to draft, anything, again, either from scratch. If you have any ideas, you can put it in the prompt of what you need. And the more specific you are, the more specific content it will create. But I don't know if the question is around it will automatically ask you to consent to anything that it's generated. That's not the idea, but it can generate any content for you.
And that's all I'm seeing.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for your time today. And again, you will have this recording and the deck we presented posted out on the blog soon. So please share it out with others, and happy Monday.
Thanks, everyone.